Welcome back to part 2 of Are You Just Staying for the Kids? The reason there's a part 2 is because yesterday I recorded the whole video. Ended up being about 30 minutes, and when I went to exit the recording, it just got lost. So I took a deep breath and recorded it right away. And that recording saved. And then when I was editing it, at around minute 12 or so, there was sound interference for the rest of the video. Either my mic was causing it or something in my software computer, I don't know. So I split that in half and I'm going to record part 2 right now. I was just about to go on a walk, but I'm like, you know what, I'm going to do the recording now and then I'll go on my walk. And I'm going to use my old school headphones for my mic so there's no chance of that interference happening. Deep breaths with these things. Okay, so we left off with number 5. Number 5 is, in order to reduce daily tension, think of one agreement you could bring to your partner and make sure you come to an agreement with them. You're not going to fix everything. You're not going to fix your marriage. You're not going to try to solve all of the things that are bothering you. But if you pick one thing that you think you could come to an agreement upon that is causing you tension and distress, resentment, then it will affect your daily life in a positive way. So maybe you decide who's waking up with the kids and stick to that. Maybe it's you alternate every day. Maybe it's every week. You have a different schedule. Perhaps it is thinking of some chores that are not really distinct right now that you feel like could be distinct and it would really help. Perhaps it is thinking about when you talk about logistics. So like a weekly meeting type of thing. Like a Sunday at 10 a.m. and this is the time. Would you be okay if this is the time where we come together to talk about the upcoming week and what that week looks like? Then you can feel a little bit clearer and at peace about those items that you have checked off. Something that my partner and I do, which has worked well for us, is we've moved our logistical talk over to email for the most part, so that our face-to-face talk and interactions is more about stuff that we want to be talking about and not about logistics of life, because that can be very wearing on a relationship. And so that's worked well for us. Sometimes text. Yeah, we text logistics and we also email logistics. Just like, hey, this Sunday, this is happening. This is what I'm thinking of. Does this work for you? Reply. Yeah. Like it's so much nicer, in my opinion, to do it over text and email, so long as that works for you. So that's an idea. Maybe, another idea, I'm just looking at my notes here, could be that you have a rule about tone to one another, or you have a rule about if one person's hungry, then you just don't talk about things. If you hear a tone come at you that you've agreed that doesn't work for you, then you leave the room. Or if they continue talking about something and you like, I've already said I need a meal before we talk about this, and they continue on, then you leave the room. That's what a boundary is when you know what you're going to do when you're in the presence of something that doesn't work for you. So those are some ideas about making agreements, because they can really reduce a lot of the resentment that is coming up when you have an agreement in place. You feel lighter, you feel like you can breathe easier, like your chest feels lighter. Number 6, remember that children don't need happy parents 100% of the time. That's not the goal to demonstrate to kids. Children need low conflict. They need emotional stability. They need a home where there's laughter sometimes and lightness. They need an adult who can self-regulate. They need adults who take responsibility for their own well-being. They don't necessarily need a soulmate-like connection in their presence 100% of the time. They don't necessarily need to watch fireworks, romantic fireworks happening in front of them, or perfect communication, because what they need is to be modeled to them that when there is rupture, that repair can happen. What does repair look like in your house? What they need is you to model self-responsibility and model boundaries and personal agency. And they want to see that you can respect differences in another person. So kids get a lot more from relational health than they do from witnessing parents who are, in love 100% of the time. So just remember that. Number 7, the final note I have, if you find yourself in this state, is a mindset shift that changes a lot. Instead of thinking, I'm trapped in this, try to shift it to, I'm here right now. This is the season of life. I'm going to make my life meaningful anyway, and I'm going to nourish myself anyway. So you can still choose self-respect in this reality that you're in. And when you choose yourself, your life gets bigger. And when your life gets bigger, your marriage can feel less suffocating. And your life can feel less small. So sometimes we don't need to force change to happen. If we just soften into expanding our life a little bit, that can feel a lot better. Okay, so I did promise you in the last video, if you're thinking, Stephanie, okay, but how do I actually get my needs met then? Like in this season of life, like what can I do if you're just drained by expecting the other person to meet these needs of yours? Here are some creative suggestions. So take what works for you, leave what doesn't, because you want to feel that zest for life still. You don't want to feel like this deadness in your life just because your marriage isn't going how you want it to. Let me just see here. Some of the top things that I hear from clients that they really want met by their partner, if you shift it from needing it being met by them or desiring it from being met by them, it will reduce the pain that you're in. So let's say you want that emotional depth from them. You want deep talks. You want to be asked how you are, and you want someone to be interested in your inner world. Someone who can sit with your feelings rather than shut down or freeze or try to fix. Outsource that to some friends. Outsource that to sister, your mother, or a community group, or a coach or a therapist. My favorite idea for this is to commit to having girls' nights. Could be one girlfriend, two girlfriends, a whole group of girlfriends, at minimum twice a year. But if you can do it like monthly, every other month, I highly support that. I am a big advocate for that. Maybe it's just coffee dates with people that you really like on a weekly basis. It doesn't matter, but the gabbing that happens is therapeutic. And by outsourcing your emotional support to people who are capable and willing, you'll go home and you'll often feel actually less resentful toward your partner. But this is important to have on a regular basis. Okay, maybe you're craving that initiation, that initiative, some leadership on their part. Maybe you want him to plan dates, research vacations, plan vacations. Maybe you want him to share the mental load, or notice like what needs to be done rather than being told. And all you have been getting is him waiting for your direction, him waiting for you to tell him what there needs to be done. What I can say here is stop waiting for that initiative. It's not going to happen. It hasn't happened right now, and it's not going to happen maybe in the near future. It doesn't matter how badly you want it. It's not happening. So stop waiting for it. Instead, do the thing you want to be doing. Plan the thing you want planned. Invite him into it if you want to, but you don't have to. If you've been wanting to take dance classes, go take your dance classes. If you've been wanting to go try that new restaurant out, invite a friend, go on your own. Sometimes it's nice to have a little solo date. But plan the things for yourself and don't expect it from him. This often brings you back into your power, and you just feel the pleasure of being able to do the things for yourself, by yourself. Okay, maybe one of your needs that you haven't been getting met is touch, affection, tenderness. And you really crave that spontaneous touch and compliments, affirmation and warmth. You want to feel desired. But really all you've been getting from him is that minimal physical affection, or maybe he is starting to feel it as a should rather than a want, which can feel really painful. And you're just not feeling that desire from him. So if this is the case, stop yourself from expecting it from him. Stop waiting for that spontaneous affection. A, he might not be wired that way, although I think that can be learned. But B, you might not be in a place with your marriage where this is even a possibility right now. So get that physical nourishment from other places. You could get regular like massage therapy. You could do somatic work. You could find pleasure in moving your body in things like yoga. You could get snuggles from your children, hugging friends. One of my favorite ways to get the sexual satisfaction is guided self-pleasure practices. I'm a sex coach, so I have lots in my toolbox for guided self-pleasure practices, and those allow you to experience self-pleasure in a way that you, like if you have like a go-to regular self-pleasure practice, this gets you out of that and allows you to experience more expansive, more variety. You feel energy move in a different way. So this is, I'm a bit biased, but this is one of the ways that you can get those physical needs met and experience maybe novelty by doing a different type of practice, if you're not getting it from your partner right now. And I have seen clients develop a really rich, satisfying self-pleasure practice that leaves them feeling nourished. These ideas will at least keep you from feeling starved from touch. So maybe one of your needs is that appreciation piece, verbal acknowledgement, and you've been wanting to hear, I see how hard you're working, or I really like how you problem solve that, or a simple thank you, or I appreciate you. And he stays silent, or he assumes that you know how he feels, or he only points out the problems, which is a really painful thing too. Here, again, the theme here is stop waiting for it. Stop expecting it. It's not coming. It hurts more every time you expect it. What you could do is practice that self-acknowledgement. I like to journal. And if you like to journal, maybe once a week, you can kind of write out things that you feel good about. Things that you've accomplished this week that feel good. Actually, in my girls group chat, there was a period of time where we would text each other on Sundays our weekly wins, what we feel good about, what are we celebrating about ourselves that week. And this is something I do a lot on my calls with women. We celebrate each other and we share our wins all the time. You'll also want to try to surround yourself with people who can provide that verbal acknowledgement, people who are good using their words. Surround yourself more with those people. That helps. Maybe you are needing or wanting co-regulation, so that's soothing. You want someone to, you've been wanting him to help calm you or be with you with your stress when you're stressed at work. Maybe you want someone to be able to breathe during conflict, and he usually escalates or dissociates or tries to fix, or he shuts down or gets defensive. None of those things are helpful in a moment where you're really looking for co-regulation with another person. And what I'll say to that is, yes, there is definitely room and space for co-regulation in a relationship, and it can be really helpful when both people understand what co-regulation is and how important it is. In the absence of that with another person, your emotional regulation is your job. And once you build the nervous system practices that calm and ground you, you won't feel the need to ask him or need that from another person as much or as often. So find the things that make you feel good in your skin. Find the things that make you feel calm and grounded. Things like walking out in nature, laying in a hot bath with Epsom salts, putting your feet up the wall, doing certain breathing exercises that bring your nervous system down, going for a solo drive, journaling. I'm just throwing things out there that things that I know work for people and work for me, so that you are building the resilience for yourself. Nervous system regulation is a really, really useful and key ingredient to healthy relating. So that concludes this part 2 of if you are staying just for the kids, or if you feel like in this season that you might just be staying just for the kids. My hope is that something in this 2-part talk has relieved or given some voice to something that you're feeling, and that you could use at least part of it to help you move through the day with a little bit more ease and a little bit more peace. I'm wishing you well. See you next time.